what about phi of A plus phi of B? So this is equal to AG times G plus G times BG comma GG. I think by now you understand what has to be done. There is an extra G here which we can cancel. Why? That we have already seen before. If you want, you can write one more step, AG plus BG comma GG, and this becomes equal to comma G. So these two are equal, that is phi of A plus B is equal to phi of A plus phi of B. So our map phi respects addition between these two rings. They are after all rings. One is an integral domain, other one is a field, but after all they are rings. Also phi of, okay, for this one let us start with phi A phi B. Instead of doing two calculations, we will do it at once. So this is equal to AG comma G BG comma G, and this gives us AG BG GG. And this is nothing but phi of AB. Okay, for one last time, if you are finding this equality somewhat disturbing and difficult to believe, then you ask yourself whether these two things are related. Multiply this with this one, this with this one, and see if they are equal. That will tell you will see that they are equal. That will tell you that these two ordered pairs are related, and hence the corresponding equivalence classes are equal. Okay, so phi respects addition and multiplication, so it's a ring homomorphism. Now that's what we are going to write now. Hence phi is, since we are dealing with rings, we can just say homomorphism. Now we want to show that this homomorphism is injective. That amounts to showing that the kernel of the homomorphism consists of only the zero element in the integral domain D. Okay. And you know that since we are dealing with ring homomorphisms, kernels are ideals. So let A be, we have already taken A, no? So let us take C to be an element in the kernel of this homomorphism. You remember this notation, this denotes the kernel of a ring homomorphism. Then Cg comma G is equal to phi of C is equal to the zero element in the field, that is 0 comma G. Okay. Now we have already seen that an element in the field becomes the zero element if and only if this first component, which we are calling the numerator of this equivalence class, is itself zero, as it is itself the zero element in the integral domain. This implies Cg is equal to 0. But keep in mind also that G is a non-zero element in the integral domain, and since we are in an integral domain, since G is non-zero, the other thing must be 0, because an integral domain has no zero divisor. So since G is not equal to 0 and D lacks zero divisors, we must have C equal to 0. So the only element possible in the kernel of phi is the zero element in the integral domain. Thus, the kernel of phi is equal to 0, and this proves that phi is injective. So it's an injective homomorphism or an isomorphism. So it's an embedding. Hence, phi is isomorphism of D into F, or an embedding. So we have now constructed the field F from the integral domain D, and we have also shown that we can embed D into this field, and that completes the proof of the theorem, the sole theorem of this section. So here the proof ends, and in the end there is a small remark. If D is the integral domain of the integers, then the field F constructed above is of course the field of rational numbers. The field of all rational numbers. One more thing that we have not said: in general, That is, if D is a general integral domain, we say that F is the field of quotients or the field of fractions of the integral domain D. So here the text part of this section ends. After that we will have the exercises, which we will see in the coming videos.